But I was thinking cutting things, but that's another subject. What's poppin', y'all? Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Yeah, we in here. I'm about to have a shot because what we about to talk about is a little serious. I know y'all used to me cracking a little jokey joke here and there, but it's serious. If you watch this show on the regular, or if you knew, you can go back to other shows and see. I always say at the end of every show something that really matters to me. And I always say, man, the wolf pack, I'm a street wolf. So I always consider everything close to me, my family, friends, my inner circle, my wolf pack. The youngins are our cubs. And I always say it's 3 things you got to do, and that's provide, protect, and educate. That is our job. You know, these kids ain't asked to be here. We bring them into the world, or we help the people around us who are bringing them into the world. What we have here on the show, I'm pretty sure some of y'all looking at it and said, I seen that lengthy shirt before. You saw me on a different episode. We're in the same studio, same day. I'm here with my cousin Tish, my homie Cypha. What's good? And you know, I wanted to make sure I had 2 people here who will bring some real perspective to the issue I'm about to bring up. And I just want to say to everybody, I appreciate you all for listening or watching, whichever one you do, for putting people on. I get a lot of text messages, emails of people putting, you know, saying, oh, yo, I show my peoples about this. I actually posted on my Instagram a picture of someone who invited their friends over and put us on the big screen in their apartment so that their friends could. Yeah, that was actually Dag. Shout out to Dagmar. I appreciate you very much. And Dagmar did that. So, yeah, that was dope for her. And salute to you. So yeah, we're gonna talk about something serious because I'll just get right into it. I worked for a company before, and there's been a lot of issues with them. There's been a lot of things that's been swept under the rug, and I was just made aware of 3 different incidents that happened in about a 2-day span that was swept under the rug, and I'm not cool with that. I'm not sure. Let me say that I'm not sure if it's my place to really put them on blast the way I want to. So, as of right now, I won't. I'll just tell you what happened. And then we'll just get opinions. And so we'll begin opinion from, besides myself, a good friend of mine who's also a parent. And then we'll begin an opinion from my cousin who's not a parent, but is around the kids all the time. You know, so we're going to get different perspective. That's the point that I'm trying to make. We're going to get different perspective, right? And as always on here, there's not an opinion that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's out there, and it's for you guys to consume, and feel free to comment. And I say it all the time. People comment by texting me, emailing me, calling me, or waiting till they see me. I want you to comment on whatever platform you're watching or listening to so that other people are encouraged to do the same. Let's extend the conversation because what we're going to talk about right now is really that serious, all right? So I'm going to lay down the groundwork and then we'll just work from there. All right, cool. So basically what happened was there was a 2nd grade young lady, and apparently she's had a few issues. So as we all went to school, we all were young, kids are reckless, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of growing up. As long as they don't go too far, which it did in this instant. So, long story short, I'm going to try to cut out as much, not to make this so crazy, but what it ended up being was is a young lady, a young girl. She was recruiting. She didn't like the attention that this kid was getting in the class from the teacher, so on, and she ends up being a young girl who's always in trouble. So you can see the issue there. You know, you're always getting to shine. I'm always getting in trouble, right?
Jealousy.
Yeah. But she's a young girl who doesn't know how to decipher that.
She just getting attention. Whatever attention she gets, yeah, I understand.
So what ends up happening is this young girl gets reprimanded about something, and then turns around and sees this kid gets, I guess you want to say props, respect, or getting bigged up for something he's doing well.
Got a gold star?
Yeah.
He got more
Yeah.
stars on the board than her.
Yeah, so what happens is the girl turns around and tells some other classmates that, or tries to convince her classmates that they should all come to school the next day with knives. Yeah. So she does show up the next day.
These kids.
We gonna get into all that. She does come to school the next day with a knife, and according to what I was told, it was a large knife, not like a regular steak knife. Not that it's cool anyway. I'm not glorifying that. I'm just saying. They said it's not like it was like a steak knife or a regular kitchen knife. They said that was like a fucking hunter's knife. Like,
Oh wow.
I want to make sure.
On a Bowie?
Yeah.
It was a Bowie?
Yeah, she came
ready
through
for
with the Crocodile Dundee. Google that. Just Google that.
That's
not
not annoying.
Yeah, I don't got no time.
This is annoying.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was she did something when she got to school the next day, and they were all at lunchtime. She had the knife, and she asked the kids for their knives, and the kids were looking at her like, "Nah, they ain't bring no fucking knife." She's like, "I'm the one who brought a knife," and she pulls the knife out and actually shows the kids the knife that
What
she
grade
had.
is this again?
2nd grade. So give or take, this girl might be like 9 years old. I might be off, but she's like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean more with 8, but 2nd grade. So bottom line, what ends up happening is she does something that gets her in trouble in the meantime, and the adult who's in charge of the recess tells her, "You can't go to recess now." The girl turns around and tells the other kids, "The plan is gonna go forward, though."
Oh.
And those were the exact words that was told to me that she said that came from even the other kids' mouths. She said, "The plan is going forward, though." This girl tried to recruit 4 other kids. Actually 5. 1 paid her no mind. The other 4, clearly not fully understanding the magnitude of what's happening, stood around her. So she said, "Hey, I can't go to recess. You're going to have to do it. The plan don't change." It says, "Stab him." She said, she told him, she strategically planned it out. She said, "You play sports with him," because I knew they told me it was a ball involved, but I don't know if it was basketball or football. They said, they told her, "Play with him with the ball. You come up and grab him and you stab him. But don't stop stabbing him even if he tries to get away."
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
A 2nd
right when
grader?
yes, and right when they're getting up to move off to recess, clearly the other kids not taking her serious, but let me rephrase that. I don't know if they're taking her serious, but I think the kids clearly, they're not understanding the magnitude of what's going on.
Right.
They're not.
They don't.
Because that's some Rikers Island shit. That's some Sing Sing shit. That's some name of jail. Like, that's how shit go down, allegedly. So, oh man. So as the kids got up to go to the recess, she's passing off the knife. A teacher just happens to see that happen and intervenes.
Thank God.
Definitely thank God.
Oof. That could have gone real south
It
real
is.
fast.
The story doesn't end there. But before I get into the next portion of it, I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to start with you, Tish. What is your opinion of that?
That's just straight up wild. Number one. And then when hearing this, it makes me just automatically think about the child's environment, where they're being, raised, how their parents raising them. Is the parents actively, active in their lives? Like, what's going on behind the scenes for this child to come to school and to think these things, and for once something like this to happen? That's my number one on my mind. What's going on at home? At the end of the day, it's still a child, so what is being fed into their mind? Are their parents being there to, support them correctly or teach them the right things? Situations like this with kids, you can't really get mad at them or anything because they really don't know. Certain things, especially 2nd grade,
These teenagers still don't know.
That's just crazy.
13, 14 still don't know what's going on.
Right.
You're a father, though.
Yeah. I got 2 kids.
So,
For me, my number one question is, because I understand, like, you got families where It's a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a single parent household. My mom's part of the reason why I was going the route that I was going when I was younger was because my mom went to school and went to work. So there wasn't a lot of time for her to watch over me.
Yeah.
And sometimes the people that watched over me wasn't the greatest people to watch over me. So you're only gonna emulate what you see.
Right.
So I want to know, like, who's watching this little kid, because that storyline had to come from somewhere.
Right.
You know, like I give children the benefit of the doubt, but that's just a little too elaborate.
Too elaborate.
So like either this kid is by himself watching crazy movies, or they with an older cousin, or and they're listening on their conversations, and the parents ain't there to show the difference between reality and fiction and repercussion.
Right.
So I don't want to automatically jump on the parent, but I gotta ask where the parents at the same time. Because
like,
if that would have happened to my kid and I found out they plotting on my kid, I'm definitely gonna go see your mom's, your pops,
that's a first.
or your uncle, whoever the guardian is.
Right.
Because I know everybody's situation is different, but we definitely gonna have a face to face.
Yeah, of course. I would do the same. And that's like what he mentioned with the, you don't know what they're doing, what they're watching. Like nowadays, these kids be so into social media. Parents, young kids have cell phones, tablets. A lot of parents are not guarding these things, putting parental controls. If you do not have parental controls on your children's devices, they are open to everything in the world. They could tap in, search a cartoon on YouTube or whatever, and that could lead to a whole bunch of other different shit.
Without question.
That could lead to a whole bunch of stuff. And out of curiosity, them being young, they're going to click on these different things.
Hell
so you
yeah.
don't even know what they could be watching at the end
Google
of the day.
itself is a
Yeah,
powerful
Google
thing.
itself.
You can Google something that seems innocent, but if it has if it's already associated with another undertone, because I heard that's how a lot of pedophiles move. They make up this crazy word, and you could just be mistyping shit, and whatever they're searching for will pop up.
Yeah.
And do you want your kid to see that? Like, my son is 11 years old. He ain't got no Instagram. You crazy? He ain't got no burn on Instagram. He got a cell phone. His cell phone got like some limits on it, because like Google, you could make sure that they can't search for certain words. But even then, YouTube, you ain't got that option. That like you could put the 18 or older option. But even then, if you misspell something,
but even though you still got to just click it, because there's no way to tell if someone's 18 or older or not.
Yeah, you could.
Once that option comes up, though, that somebody got to say is yes, I am. You know what I mean? But now I want to get into the other details of the story that brought me over the edge, and I'll definitely, I'll hit you out with the details, and then we'll start with you, and we'll move to Tish on this one. So the further details is this: the teacher intervened, brought it to the principal's attention. The 4 kids who were immediately involved in the situation were brought up to the office. Clearly, young kids, they don't know no better. And in this case, they shouldn't fucking know. Let me take back what I just said. In this case, it's not about knowing no better. These kids started saying everything that happened.
Right.
And the only reason why I said that first is because I'm a street dude. I'm not trained to talk. You know what I mean? In this case, yes, they should have talked. Yes, they should have.
they little kids.
So yeah, I apologize. I'm just talking how I talk. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I shouldn't have said it like that. But bottom line is just what it boiled down to. Everybody spoke on and said everything that would happen. The young girl came up with this elaborate plan. I'm pretty sure that 4 of the kids are going to say the same details, and they're all lying. You know what I'm saying? And she tried to coerce them all to bring their own knives. And when they couldn't, it didn't matter because she supplied hers, and she wanted them to go forward. And saying that, that don't change the plan, that don't change the plan. So anyway, what ends up happening is, and this is where the disgust comes in, she was suspended for 2 days.
That's
It'll
it.
be more than that.
Thank you. I thought she should have been expelled.
More than a
Hold on, but I got some more for y'all. She was suspended for 2 days. What ended up happening, and according to both people I spoke to, there's a little difference in time. Somebody told me it was a week and a half later. Somebody told me it was 2.5 weeks later. for the sake of conversation, let's say 2 weeks, right? That's pretty much.
It's a medium.
Yeah, let's say 2 weeks. The kid was playing with the girl, or in the area of the girl.
I'm about to say, you want to play with this girl? You trying to stab her?
Oh, he didn't know.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, because that's what's leading into what I'm about to say. The kid goes to go play in the vicinity of the girl, and some of the kids who was involved with the initial issue came up to him and said, no, don't go over there, don't go near her. And the kid's like, what are you talking about? I wanted to play, and he was like, no, she wants to kill you.
Oh, wow.
It's like, what? Like, she wants to kill you. And then them kids start explaining to that kid the murder plot.
Oh my God.
And then he went home and told his parents.
He went home and told his parents, and then the parents came flipping out. So my issue, and this is what I want your opinion, but I'm gonna start with you.
Why you didn't tell me?
Why the fuck did the principal or the teacher think it was fit not to tell the parents of the would-be victim what the fuck was going on?
Right.
Why? And then I worked at this place, and I worked at other educational facilities, and I'm gonna tell you something. I have a big disgust for Spanish and black families now, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because we grew up a certain way looking at the way Caucasians dealt with their children. And we were always taught, nah, that's how Caucasians do. Nah, we maintain respect and discipline amongst Spanish and black. Right? That's the way I was always raised.
That's how I was brought up.
But now we're in an era of a different thing.
Everybody's scared of ACS.
But it ain't just that though. A lot of these them, they don't give a fuck. And this is what I mean by not giving a fuck. A lot of y'all are sitting back now and saying, don't talk to my kid like that. Don't treat my kid like that. You don't even want to fucking hear what happened.
That's true.
And I've witnessed this with my own eyes. I've even gotten to arguing with parents before when I'm trying to protect their fucking kid. So I'm going to tell you right now, that's my disgust with blacks and Spanish right now as parents. And a lot of them is, I don't want to treat them the way I was when I was growing up.
They get offended.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like,
And it's a regular occurring thing, but what I want your opinion on is, right, how would you feel if you find out 2 weeks later what happened? You was never told what happened.
First of all, I'm at the school.
Yeah.
And I'm spazzing 100%.
Yes.
Because not only was there a plot on my child's life, my child is in continuous danger because it's never been brought to light. This kid's parents don't know what their kid was planning to do. I don't know what was planning to happen to my kid. So you're leaving that veil of covered on top of what happened because you don't want to look bad, or you worried about your review, district review, whatever. Because I know it has to do with numbers.
Of course.
Because that's what everything has to do.
Of course.
So you're planning to keep a child at risk.
And then you're still in the same class.
At risk. You didn't move the kid. You didn't separate nobody. You didn't do nothing to mediate the situation. You just let it fester. And I don't know if anything's happened beyond that, but that ain't even the point. Like you're supposed to be the guardian of my child while they're learning.
Right.
You're not even doing that.
My
just like
trust is in you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
6-7 hours out of the day.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that my kid's gonna be all right. Like my kid got enough to worry about when they come out of school. That's the last. They should be able to be in school and at home and not worry about nothing.
Right.
There's so much stuff that happens in the street every day. Like tomorrow is not promised today, and stuff happens to children all the time. So like, for you not to tell me that shit, you're worried. Are you worried about? You worried about my well-being, my kids' well-being, or are you worried about your reputation? At this point, your reputation means nothing. Because, God forbid, that kid would have took my kid's life, you would have had a whole nother shitstorm to worry about.
Right.
You should be worried about the little shit trying to put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But just
Definitely when it came up to the school. That's, we would have, I'm sorry, wait, hold on. Before I answer the question, can you reiterate that to me one more time? What was the question?
The question is just what is your reaction to that, to finding out 2 weeks later that this whole murder plot was in play?
you know, parents.
And your kid didn't even know.
I didn't know. I'm going into the school. We have to get the other child's parents involved. We have to sit down. We have to talk about this because we have to see what, you know, we got to dig deep. Because what is, you know, you don't know what's wrong with the child. We have to see what's going on. You know, your child is here threatening my child with weapons, trying to recruit other people. You know, maybe your child needs therapy, something like that. You have to sit down. We have to mediate the children. We have to know what's going on. We have to fix this problem before it gets bigger.
Of course.
If you already out here making plans, recruiting people 2nd grade with a knife, you bringing a knife to school.
And in this day in society,
Like,
they'll charge your kid with an adult charge.
yeah.
It ain't like
16 in New York.
It ain't like they differentiate
I mean,
anymore. They'll
slay.
slay your kid. Like,
Yeah, but I want to tell something also to the parents who are out there listening and watching. Let me tell you something. In multiple areas, depending on age, you are responsible for what your child do.
oh yes,
There are states where you will go to jail for what the fuck your kid did.
there's
So,
a lot of states that do that.
I want you to know that. Like, life ain't simple for anybody that wasn't
Yeah,
born
no.
in them circumstances. So there's always something. But let me tell you something. Not paying attention, you're guilty of. And
Checking your
flat
kids'
out,
book bag, making sure they got all their books before they go to school, things like that.
Oh, you
You know,
still
you gotta
good.
check like, oh, make sure my kids got, you didn't leave your notebook, whatever, you got your homework in your bag, your lunch, whatever. How you let that slip? I know we be busy, but come on. That's
And then
things like
even
that
then,
you gotta check,
even
you
with
know?
the slip, they automatically gonna say where that knife came from,
Yeah.
who produced that knife, why you got that in your house.
That's something that definitely should.
That's a whole nother wave of issues you're gonna have to deal with. So
that brings
like-
ACS and people want to come into your home. That's why.
No, but that's the charge he's talking about.
Yeah.
Not only could forget about the act. Had that little kid killed the other little kid. The act is a whole nother wave. It didn't even get to that point. But just at to the point that it got, they gonna start asking questions about you
Yeah.
and what you doing. You really gonna worry about you gonna get your charge because your kid came to school with a knife.
Right.
Because we had a little kid not too long ago who was in the news. They came to school with a gun.
Yeah.
listen.
And that's not the first time either.
You know what?
No.
I'm
Like
going.
publicized.
There's
Yeah.
other things that I can speak on that's happening in these schools. I worked in them. At this point, I won't speak on that. But I battled myself last night. I even turned around and spoke to 2 other people who, you know, whose opinion matters to me. And I asked them, should I even speak on this? You know what I'm saying? And they both told me and said, Joe, the real talk, if you gonna continue to do what it is you do, yeah, because we can have conversations like this amongst parents, off of camera, off of audio device.
Yeah, of course.
But they say, yo, man, you doing what you do, and you spoke on fucked up issues before, why wouldn't you? So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Because I fought with myself because I don't like talking about shit with kids. I'm a father.
2 days suspension, it was definitely not enough.
But I have a hard time.
2 days for cutting. Like,
Listen, I have a hard time speaking on these
I was
sort of
coming
things
back, like-
because it's like, yo, as a father, it's hard sometimes to separate the father from trying to sit there and someone entertain y'all, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. I had to try not to get, but nah, on this I just couldn't do it. And like I said, I spoke to 2 people who told me, yo, you have to do that. You got to talk about that. And real shit, I just want all you parents out there to do 2 things. Number 1, I need you to get more involved in conversations with what's going on in your kid's school. That does mean talking to other parents. That does mean talking in depth with teachers.
Teachers, staff.
Not because you come to pick your kid up and you see that teacher every day. You don't fucking know them.
nah, you don't.
Oftentimes, you gotta make your presence known to the principal. Now, I will say, I put my personal business out there. Like, I'm not privy to do a lot of that shit. I'm not, because my own shit and family court and all of that, there's a lot of shit that I just can't flat out just do when it comes to my kids. But I will encourage you to do that because I'm pretty sure most of y'all not in that space. So, yeah, it is upon you to come and talk to the teacher. Not just pick your kid up and wave. Talk to a principal, other parents, because other parents, and listen.
Maybe you not be able to make it to something, they'll be able to make it. They could brief you on what's going on.
But even more
Yeah,
so
you
is,
know?
let's be real. You have the gossiping ass parents that can't wait to tell somebody something.
Oh,
These are the times that they have value. You know what I'm saying? So that's
A
what
lot
I'm
of
saying, man.
housewives.
I'm deeply concerned, and because like who the fuck am I to sit there and tell you at the end of every show, provide, protect, and educate, but I'm gonna sit here and know some shit and just not like no.
Nah, it needs to be brought to light anyway, because you can have the conversation in the crib and then it ends at the crib and nobody else knows about it. And then people don't understand, like, this stuff happens across the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
You hear about the little
Regardless
kid
of
with,
race.
yeah, it doesn't matter, white, black, Spanish, it don't matter. Native American, they got a whole another set of issues going on in their land that we know nothing about.
Yes, sir.
But we all deal with some form of troubled time when it comes to our kids, and if we're not paying attention, then we're allowing the internet to raise our kids, we're allowing movies and TV to raise our kids, we're allowing social media to raise our kids, and we gotta be on top of that, because their young minds is like a sponge. They soak up everything, and then they get this preempt notion of how this is what life is about and what society is about, and it's not. That's not how the cookie crumbles.
Right.
And if you're from an impoverished neighborhood and you know somebody else's social media lifestyle, which is just a small little tidbit of who that person really is,
A blink of an eye.
yeah,
Or
you don't know the
imaginary.
real. You don't know the real. Yeah, it could be straight imaginary. There's people on there that's living straight up lies. There's some. There's some. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that's real life stuff, but there's a lot of fake stuff on catfishing people. So
Yeah. It's a lot of fraudulence.
these little kids gonna come up thinking that that's how it is, and you know what? Real life is gonna sting you in the ass. That shit is not like that. And you're not gonna get away with the type of stuff that some people get away with because of your race, creed, color, sexual orientation. All that stuff plays it. No matter how many times people want to say, "No, we bigger than this, we better than that," it still plays a factor nowadays. It does. Has it gotten a little bit better than when my parents was coming up, your parents was coming up? Yeah, of course, because it's just not as blatant. But there's still an issue there. So if you don't teach your kid what's going on and prep them and aware and make them aware of what's going on in life, they're not going to be prepared for real life.
Right.
And a lot of times, look, this little plot could have been from a movie. We don't know we don't know the end story of this. She could have seen it in a movie and said, "Oh, I'm gonna do the same thing." It worked out in there, not realizing it's a movie. It's not real. It's not real life.
Right.
Just like they had issues with people playing video games and kids were saying, "Oh, well, you could do it in a game." No, it's a game. Exactly. You just said it. It's a game.
It's a game.
But nobody was there to teach them the difference between the game and real life.
Yeah.
I agree.
So you got to be involved, and I understand like the culture now is crazy. It's like not everybody, because I don't want to generalize, but a lot of people, a lot of parents now are into this immediate gratification thing. Like, oh, I ain't have these Jordans, my kid's gonna have every Jordans. I didn't have this clothes, my kid's gonna have these clothes. I ain't have jewelry, my kid's gonna have jewelry. I didn't have a car, I'm gonna buy my kid a car. But you're not checking to make sure they do their homework. You're not checking to make sure they doing the right thing. So you're rewarding nothing.
Right.
You're not showing, and you at the same time you're showing them no value. They don't value anything. They don't value the time that it took you, the hours out of your paycheck that it cost to pay for some Jordans, the amount of weeks that it took you to save to buy them that hoopty that they not even appreciative of because they wanted a BMW, but you got them a Toyota. Like you know, like this real world problems is going on right now, and I can't say I'm from that generation. Like I didn't have a lot of shit when I was coming up, and my mom bust her ass and worked real hard to get me a Nintendo, even if the Nintendo was 2 years after it came out. But I watched her grind for it. I watched her grind for it to make sure that I had a Nintendo.
You had it right.
You know, like I ain't never had no Jordans as a kid. Like I bought my first Jordans. I went to summer work camp. I got my working papers. I bought my Jordans. Now my mom's bought me a pair of crazy expensive sneakers in '94 when she bought me these Air Unlimiteds, and they was $140 back then. But she chose that shoe. I had chosen another shoe because I wasn't even going in that section. I was in the $50 section.
Cause you knew. Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go there.
Back when the Air Forces was $50.
Yeah, back then. I think
Fuck outta here.
I might have been looking at some Air Forces, and she came and was like, why don't you get this shoe? This is a nice shoe. It looks good. And I was like, okay, well, I like that shoe. But I knew what side of the wall it was on. It was on the side of the wall and I couldn't get it.
Right.
So she
back then it was broke off. Like,
it was like, yo, you know.
I remember the sections.
You know what I'm saying? You had you had the table in Dr. J's with the $20 joints, and then you had the joints on the wall.
Yeah.
It's just on the wall.
They were leveling up.
It just worked this way.
Yeah.
As you walk
so
in.
she went to the counter and she saw the bread, and I know it killed her because $140 back in the day, that was like 3 weeks of fucking work.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Fuck yeah.
Counting all your bills and all that shit. But she paid for it because she already told me you should get these. She made it, and I know my mom didn't eat for like 2 weeks.
I remember the Barclays, fam. When I
Yeah.
went for that. Boy, overall, it's a serious issue. I'm going to encourage any parent listening or watching to really check into what's really popping at your kids' thing.
Yeah, you can't buy your children.
Talk with
man.
your kids. Your kids might get a feel for something that ain't cool. Like,
Yeah.
I just want y'all to be.
And this situation is like a violent situation. We're not even talking about like the pedophilia situation that's been hitting our kids like crazy lately. And that's a whole nother wave on its own. And that goes well unspoke of for years.
Definitely.
For years. And we don't even know what's going on. We lucky that the teacher even saw the exchange happen
Right.
in order to prevent it from getting to where it would have gotten to.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that other stuff you don't even get to see. And if you don't talk to your kids and you don't let your kids know that they can confide in you and they can tell you stuff, then who else they gonna go to?
Yeah, you can't balk on your kids 24/7 and think they're gonna come to you.
Nah.
I'm having a little issue when it comes to my kids because I'm the disciplinary in the family, and there are times that my son might not want to tell me something because he think I'm gonna get mad. But I keep telling both of them, even in good moments, I tell them, I reassure them, listen, you talk to me about everything, even if I'm mad for a few minutes, you gotta tell me, because I'm the only one who can help you regardless of what happens. So you gotta come to me.
You're gonna be in that corner.
Yeah, and that's what I tell them. I'm your number one fan.
You don't want to keep it real. You're gonna let them know what is right from
So
wrong.
listen, I'm gonna encourage
Still
all of
gonna love
y'all, man, to please really take the time to get a little more involved and see what's popping, man, with your kids, and that might mean even talking to other parents. And that's not something, because everybody think communicating over social media now. Like, they got these things that some of the schools do when they got a little program. They create a Facebook or Instagram page for the parents. No, you're still not interacting with each other. Like, it might be necessary. Of course, throughout my life, I never believed that shit where they say it take a village to raise a child. Listen, as time goes on and I'm a parent, that shit becomes more and more truth, and the more eyes, the better. You know what I mean? So anyway, man, just let them know where they can find you if you want to be found. Cause Tish, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, you might want to watch Tish's Snapchat. You might not know what you get next.
Tish, TIISHC, Snap, Miss Cooper IG. I'm just a regular. I'm out here living life.
There you go.
Yeah, you catch me at Cypha Knows across all mediums except Facebook. Don't do Facebook, but you catch me Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Snapchat, all that vibe. I'll be on there every once in a while. Snapchat ain't really my vibe. I'll be on the IG heavy, but if you want to follow, you can follow us. So good, I follow you back.
Yeah, make sure you do, man. And in between all of that, just need y'all to do the 3 things I ask all the time. That's provide, protect, and educate. And before we go anywhere, I need y'all, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that new shit they got going on, the bell there. That'll send you any alert anytime I upload any video. And if you watch this channel or you're new to this channel, I'll tell you myself, it's not just episodes we upload. Sometimes we got skits. Sometimes we upload people music. It's a lot of things that go on this channel. And very soon we will be putting up the website. And I'm going to tell you right now, I need you to really provide, protect, and educate, man. Because if not, where the fuck is our future even going?
Stay involved.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, Street Wolves, just remember, I always salute you.
100.